Once upon a time, long, long ago, before the dawn of multiplexes, there was a movie theater in just about every town.
Yeah, some of them still stand, some are long gone. For example, the Reese Theater in Harrington, it opened in 1930. In Accomack County on the island of Chincoteague, you'll find the Island Theater. And the Marva Theater in Pocomoke still stands today. That theater was built in 1927. Well, there's one theater that stands out on Delmarva, the Clayton Theater in Sussex County. That's because it's the only single-screen theater in the state showing first-run films. But that's not the only thing that makes the Clayton so special.
How do you fall in love?
In love?
To the music of harps and flutes?
Flutes?
Ava Gardner and Robert Walker starred in the 1949 film One Touch of Venus, the first to be shown at the Clayton Theater in Dagsboro more than 65 years ago. Sandie Gerken was too young to attend opening night of the theater her father and uncle built, but remembers the stories.
People were clamoring to get in. They were so excited about getting in that they tore the front doors off the hinges.
A year earlier, brothers-in-law Pete Hancock and Skeet Campbell used money from an inheritance to buy land in their hometown and build the much-needed theater, complete with a soda fountain to the side.
That's what I remember, coming to work with my mom, both in the day and at night, to the soda fountain.
For Sandie, her sisters, and cousins, the theater was an extension of their home.
This was the best playhouse in the world. And we did play in here. My cousin Lucinda and sister Beth liked to pretend that we were movie stars and singers, and we would come down the stairs, making a grand entrance like we were dressed in these fancy Hollywood gowns and singing to our hairbrushes.
And like many teenagers at the time, the Clayton was the site of many firsts for Sandie.
It was a popular place for the teenagers to come after school in the soda fountain, and some of them had their jobs here, but this was my first job, my first date, my first kiss. My uncle, Skeet, and my dad were then the babysitters that walked the aisles with the flashlights to make sure that the kids stayed in line. And I, as well as others, didn't.
Sandie's father and uncle eventually sold the theater in the 70s, but Sandie still considers it home, even though it's had a few other owners since then.
My father's name was Clayton, and we were driving by and we saw the marquee lit with Clayton on it. I thought that was really great.
Today, Joanne Howe owns the Clayton, something she and her husband bought on a whim.
We came here to see the film, and when we first came into the concession stand, there were some old pictures behind the counter, and one of them was a large original poster from Sands of Iwo Jima. My dad happened to fight on Iwo Jima. He was in the 5th Marine Division. And so it seemed almost like destiny when the time came that a year or two later that we saw that the theater was for sale.
At the time, Joanne knew nothing about how to run a movie theater. The theater's previous owners helped her get up to speed.
The thing that I really didn't know is from the theater business, the big thing about running a movie theater is you don't make any money off your ticket sales. You make your money at the concession stand. The ticket sales, the big portion of that money goes back to the studios.
When Joanne bought the theater, the 2 original film projectors were still being used, but Hollywood studios were making the switch to digital.
It was a little scary, actually. 20th Century Fox was one of the first studios to announce that after the end of 2013, they were no longer going to make 35mm film.
So the Clayton had to come up with between $65,000 and $85,000 to purchase a digital projector. And they did, with a lot of help from the community.
This is one of the first projectors that we had here at the theater. We used to have 2 of these, and we'd switch over. There was a switcher on the floor, and we would switch over between one projector to the other as we changed over reels of film. The reels used to come on a small reel like the one you see up there. That's how they originally came. Nowadays they came on plastic reels, and we would switch them over to a larger reel like the one you see on the bottom down there. But now, as of March, we switched over to our digital projector, which is right here. You can see there's quite a difference in the size. But it's amazing that this projector is so much brighter, clearer, crisper. The sound is so much clearer. It's just, well, it's like a high definition television. You know, when you put it on, you can't believe the difference that you're seeing.
The Clayton is the only single-screen theater showing first-run films in the state of Delaware.
I don't necessarily get them on the break when they break nationwide. If I wait a few weeks, see how the film does, see if I get feedback from the public, which films they do and don't want to see.
And last week, the Clayton was presented with a state historical marker, an idea first presented to Joanne earlier this year.
That was just unbelievable. It not only would mean a lot to the town, I think, but a lot to the families, the Hancock and the Campbell families, and Sandie and her family, who's built the theater originally.
Making the Clayton Theater not only a treasure to be recorded in the history books, but a Delmarva treasure as well.
And Joanne says the movies shown at the Clayton are all family friendly. There are also special senior prices, and they have classic movie nights.
Oh my.
Yeah, so if you would like to learn more about the Clayton Theater, go to our website, wboc.com, and click on our picture at the top of the page.
Was that just as fascinating as
It
it seemed to
was.
be?
We spent a lot of time there.
Wow.
Had popcorn too.
And popcorn. Didn't bring me any. We'll talk about that later. Another treasure you can find right here on Delmarva, seashells. All over the place. And at the Seashell Shop, there's no shortage of shells from the sea, but that's not the only thing you'll find at this Rehoboth Beach staple. Delmarva Life Sean Stryker gives us a closer look at the store that's called Delmarva, home for over 50 years.
And while we're talking home, maybe you're in the kitchen right now trying to figure out dinner. A little later, we throw 2 unique flavors into one tasty dish. We're making a corn and nectarine salad.
But first, you know that Delmarva Life is all about community, and that includes your community.
Is there something going on in your neighborhood? We'd love to hear about it and see the photos from the event. Send the information our way along with any pictures you'd like to share.
You can reach us at comments@delmarvalife.com or like us on Facebook. Share the information there. Delmarva Life. We'll be right back.